Hey everybody, welcome back to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com. I am the owner of NoDQ and Rift. TNA Genesis is this coming Sunday. Make sure you check out the live coverage at NoDQ.com this Sunday. But for now, let's get down to your questions about the world of professional wrestling. Hey dude, love the site, man. No, he didn't say man. With the WWE in the internet era and Twitter being utilized so much, how much are WWE superstars censored by Vince when tweeting? I think Vince would almost have to approve, disapprove most tweets. I'm not even sure if Vince McMahon actually goes on Twitter and sees what people are saying. I'm sure people just tell Vince what they're saying. And yeah, I mean, WWE doesn't want guys going on there and saying things that are going to make the company look bad. So I'm sure there's some kind of groundwork that's been laid down by WWE as to what you can and cannot say on there. And of course, if you're going to go on there and promote whatever you're doing, promote a WWE show or talk about something else you're doing outside of WWE, I'm sure WWE has no problem with that. But when you start going on there, if you're drinking heavily and then you're going on there tweeting, I could see that being a problem with WWE. And yeah, I know they crack down on that kind of behavior. And as far as Vince McMahon goes, you know, I'm surprised he even knows what Twitter is at this point, to be honest with you. And it's funny how there was actually a rumor going around a while ago that Vince would create his own Twitter account. And I could just imagine it now, how disastrous that would be, because Vince McMahon would try to tweet something and then it wouldn't work and he would just go on a rampage. I could imagine that something like that happening with Vince McMahon, just because, you know, he's not really in with computers and that sort of thing. Hey Aaron, love the site. What did you think of The Rock's 2003 heel character? I think that The Rock was at his best. Everything The Rock did and still does is great, including the 2003 heel character. I mean, it was long overdue, because The Rock had gone to Hollywood and people were already starting to get fed up with him and were booing him for, you know, being the sellout, the Hollywood sellout. So it was only natural for him to embrace that and become a heel. And he really ran with the ball. I mean, he came out and he did the Rock concert in Sacramento and made fun of the Sacramento Kings, calling them the Sacramento Queens, and talking about how he'll be sure to come back when the Lakers beat the Kings in May. And that heel reaction, I still remember that to this day. Just, I never heard such a loud reaction of boos to one particular line. I mean, look it up on YouTube. It was an all-time classic segment, and just The Rock at his best. And the stuff with him and the Hurricane, you know, calling Hurricane the Hamburglar, and Hurricane shooting back at him with the Scorpion King has a tiny ding-a-ling. I mean, all that stuff was just gold. What do you think of Drew McIntyre's recent transfer to Smackdown? Although he is still jobbing, he is getting TV time. Do you think the WWE will soon use him properly, perhaps in a feud with Cody over the IC title? I think Drew McIntyre going to SmackDown was definitely the right move. He was going absolutely nowhere on Raw, and it got to the point where, me personally, I wasn't even sure which show he was on. So being on SmackDown gives him a fresh start, and as we saw with Ted DiBiase a few months ago, you know, DiBiase was on this huge losing streak and not really appearing on TV, and then finally WWE started using him again, and he finally started to regain some lost momentum on SmackDown. So I could see the same thing happening with Drew McIntyre. Now that he's on SmackDown, he has a new opportunity, and you know, there's not so much competition on SmackDown, you know, in terms of so many guys on the roster trying to get TV time. So I definitely see a possibility in him maybe feuding with Cody Rhodes, or I don't know if he's staying heel or if he's going to go babyface. We'll just have to wait and see. Perhaps a face turn might be good for him, just to do something different with him. So we'll see. At this point, who is your pick to win the Royal Rumble? I think having either Jericho or Orton win is too obvious, and I'd rather have a young star win who could gain from the momentum. My original pick to win the Royal Rumble, the obvious choice, was Randy Orton, because it is in St. Louis, and Orton's kind of been not in the main event picture for the past few weeks, past few months. So it made sense to me that by the time of WrestleMania, Orton would be right back in there in the title hunt, and winning the Royal Rumble would make sense if he's going to be in the main event at WrestleMania. So Orton seemed like the logical choice, but then he got hurt. Now, as to how severe the injury is, who knows? I mean, at first it was announced by WWE that Orton was going to be out for 6 months. But the latest word is that Orton is going to try to work through the injury and just not compete that much, and maybe be at the Royal Rumble, maybe do the occasional match, and just appear on Raw and cut promos, or appear on Smackdown and just cut promos, and then have his match at WrestleMania, and then maybe take some time off or whatever, or just try to rehab as he works a light schedule. So I still think the chances of Orton winning is a good possibility. As far as Jericho goes, that's always a possibility as well. I could see that happening. I'm not so sure about a young star winning. I guess Zack Ryder is a dark horse candidate, but I think the likelihood is Orton's going to win if he's able to compete. If not, then probably Jericho's your best bet. With Orton out of action for the time being, do you think WWE will put more focus on Sheamus and Barrett on SmackDown to bring them up to main event level? Well, if Orton's injury is only temporary, then things are going to stay as they've been, especially WrestleMania coming up. I'm guessing that guys like Sheamus and Wade Barrett are going to end up in Money in the Bank if it's brought back, and that's the word going around right now, that Money in the Bank is going to be at WrestleMania again. Or some kind of match, multi-man match, like an 8-man tag match, something like that. That's what I see Sheamus and Barrett doing for WrestleMania. And, I think it's too soon for both of those guys to carry a pay-per-view in a main event level position. But, definitely 2012 is looking bright for both of those guys. So, and, if Orton, is gone for a while, or somebody else at the top gets hurt, you could always see guys like Sheamus and Barrett being next in line to get the big push. So there you go. All right, that'll do it for today's edition of No DQ&A video. Like I said, make sure you check out the website this weekend for TNA Generous. Not so sure if it's going to be generous or not, but it is Genesis, and it is this Sunday. So stay tuned, and please subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. And on that note, we'll see you next time.